free visa access. With the right of citizenship comes responsibilities. All investors must pass background checks and invest a significant sum of money in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Foreign investors already invest in hotels. Why don't they invest in healthcare? A new CBI program run by an NDP government will push them to invest in a new hospital. Money to support young people and job creation. Our Caribbean neighbors already collect millions of dollars each year through CBI. St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, and Dominica fund schools and hospitals through CBI. Our most precious resource is our people, and we must not fail them. We need tax-free, people-focused investments, growth, and jobs now. Together, we can get SVG working again.
Things hard, things hard, things hard. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. Has never dead, no fight in a row. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. Has never dead, no fight in a row. Wealthy getting richer, extension getting poorer. Every day is pressure, dictatorship is rising. For people and they take it, investors benefits it. Things hard, things hard, things hard. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. God never dead, no fight in a row. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. God never dead, no fight in a row. For 20 years you're ruling, we country retrogressing, with crime and drugs increasing, corruption nepotism, democracy eroding, and everything is failing. Things hard, things hard, things hard. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. God never dead, no fight in a row. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. God never dead, no fight in a row. So let me go, yellow, yellow, cause never dead, right there for sure. So let me go, yellow, yellow, cause never dead, right there for sure. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so, cause never dead, no fight in a row. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so, cause never dead, no fight in a row. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so.
Put it on speaker.
Where's the country
our player DJ Bounce?
And we have the
it's
key.
some good night headphones.
Turn it up now.
Bang.
Show who you voting. Show me who you voting. We voting NDP, 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 NDP.
Them think them smart, we go vote them outright. Them think them smart, we go vote them outright. Them think them smart, we go vote them outright. Them think them smart, we go vote them outright. Cause when the kids start to suffer, blame it pan labor. When no job now they wrong, yeah. NDP will deliver. Yeah, see no smile from no farmer. NDP will deliver. We will deliver. NDP will deliver. Boy, the old place voting, we saving something. NDP we voting, Friday we voting. Boy, the old place voting, we saving something. NDP we voting, Friday we voting. Them think them smart, we go vote them outright. Them think them smart, we go vote them outright. Them think them smart, we go vote them outright. Them think them smart, we go vote them outright. Cause when the kids start to suffer, blame it pan labor. When no jobs now they wrong, yeah. NDP will deliver. Can't see no smile from no farmer. NDP will deliver. We will deliver. NDP will deliver. Let's get SVG working again. And every day would be Friday.
Yellow Army, Pauline, rescue mission time. In this country, sweet SVG, we have a problem. Time for it to end. Chase all those corrupt men. The ULP, so power hungry. Oh, as can be. Everything for one family. They bleed in the treasury. Save we country, vote NDP. Yellow Army, come join with me. For prosperity, please support the key. Save the country, vote NDP. Yellow Army, come join with me. For prosperity, please support the key. For jobs to come our way, to see a brighter day. We go in with Friday, all the way. For jobs to come our way, to see a brighter day. We go in with Friday, on election day. For jobs to come our way, to see a brighter day. We go in with Friday, all the way. For jobs to come our way, to see a brighter day. We go in with Friday, on election day.
I'm a girl, the original Pablo City again. Hey, I'm here to talk about my girl. Nah, not so. What's the matter, one? This year we are not joking. We coming out, we voting. We NDP supporting. For too long now we suffering. Youth unemployment rising and poverty increasing. Things hard, things hard, things hard. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. That never dead, no fight in a row. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. That never dead, no fight in a row. Wealthy getting richer, consumption getting poorer. Every day is pressure, dictatorship is rising. For people and they take it, investors benefits it. Things hard, things hard, things hard. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. God never dead, no fight in a row. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. God never dead, no fight in a row. Oh, 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 oh. For 20 years you ruling, we country retrogressing, with crime and drugs increasing, corruption nepotism, democracy eroding, and everything is failing. Things hard, things hard, things hard. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. God never dead, no fight in a row. Well, tell them no, nothing goes so. God never dead, no fight in a row. So there we go, yellow.
Mic check, 1, 2.
Never dead, right there for sure.
Mic check, 1, 2, ladies and gentlemen. A pleasant good night. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, NDP family. All right, those of you on the outside, we encourage you to come inside and take your seats as we get ready to start the New Democratic Party's virtual meeting here tonight. Remember, once again, we're coming to you live from the New Democratic Party headquarters in Kingstown. Vice President of the New Democratic Party, Major, the Honorable Sinclair Leacock. Vice President also of the New Democratic Party, the Honorable Patel Matthews. We say good night to the candidates of the New Democratic Party, the Honorable Nigel Nature Stevenson. Brother Benjamin Exeter, and Senator Israel Bruce, who's here with us tonight. Those of you in the audience, and of course we acknowledge our President and leader of the New Democratic Party, Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday, who is unable to be with us here tonight, but a little later on in the meeting you will hear a brief message from our President. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we say good night to each and every one of you, and those of you viewing via social media, a pleasant good night to you and welcome to the NDP's virtual meeting. Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we'd like you to stand as we invoke the presence of our Lord and Savior at this point in time. We'd like to welcome to the podium Mrs. Stevenson to start us off in a word of prayer, ladies and gentlemen.
Let us pray. Lord, we give you thanks. We give you praise. We thank you, O God, for the breath of life. We thank you for today. We thank you for our nations in Vincent and the Grenadines. I pray, O God, you add a special blessing on us. We thank you for the gem of the Antilles. I pray, O God, everything that will be said and will be done here will be done in decency and in order. In no other name we ask. In your name, amen.
Thank you very much. We kindly ask you to remain standing for the national anthem of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
St. Vincent, land so beautiful, with joyful hearts we pledge to thee our loyalty and love, and vow to keep you ever free. What in the future brings, our faith will see us through. May peace reign from shore to shore, and God bless and keep us true.
Thank you very much. You may have your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, once again, the New Democratic Party is coming to you live from its headquarters in Kingston with yet another powerful and dynamic virtual meeting, ladies and gentlemen. And when I look at the lineup here tonight of the speakers tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I know it is going to be a powerhouse of a presentation tonight with a strong and powerful message to the people of this country. Tonight, you are going to hear not only from the leadership of the New Democratic Party, but you're going to hear from the prospective candidates as well. Some strong, dynamic men who are putting up the good fight for the New Democratic Party in the various constituencies. As I bring them up to you one by one tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want those of you viewing on social media to spread and to share this live tonight. Because trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I could speak for one of the speakers already going to speak tonight. Gonna be, I don't want to use the word busting shots, no. But gonna be coming in just like he did in his last virtual meeting. And have those on the other side right now quaking in their boots, ladies and gentlemen. And he's just one. There is another young dynamic speaker who will be speaking tonight too as well, who just recently sent a warning shot over the bow in his own constituency. And then we have another speaker tonight, ladies and gentlemen, who in his own constituency where he is the elected representative, there are those on the other side who is given a full endorsement that clearly their government, their political party, their organization has failed to represent the people in that constituency. Completely fail, ladies and gentlemen. But there is no failure in the New Democratic Party's representative and continued representative in that constituency. Another speaker will be coming here tonight on this platform, ladies and gentlemen, to talk to you. He was on the ground fighting tooth and nail in the 2015 general elections. And they're looking to come after him again, but he will be standing strong. He will be putting up the fight for truth, fairness, and free and fair elections in that constituency. Tonight, We ain't pulling no punches. We are closer and closer to a general elections in this country, ladies and gentlemen. And it's no more time for grin and to laugh and to skylark. It's time for serious business. It is time for serious leadership. It is time for serious representation. And tonight is a serious message from the new Democratic Party. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the podium our first speaker tonight, coming out of the constituency of Central Leeward. Please put your hands together and welcome to the podium, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conroy Marshall.
This year we are not joking, we coming out we voting, we NDP supporting.
Honorable Godwin Friday, President of the New Democratic Party, Vice Presidents Honorable Sinclair Leacock and Honorable Patil Matthews, other members of Parliament, to all those present here tonight and in the diaspora, a pleasant good evening to everyone. I stand here as a young person, now more than ever. It's time for young people to stand and let their voices be heard. There are many young people here in SVG, and especially in Central Leeward, who are tired of the conditions that we face. We are tired of the battle for jobs. We are fed up chasing fleeting illusions that promise bigger, better opportunities. Over the past years, we have done little but complain. Maybe we complain because we thought that that's all we can do. Excuse me. Maybe we complain because we don't want to get into the messiness of politics, but that posture has not brought us and served us well in the past, neither will it serve us well in the future. So now, it's time for action. It's time to stop complaining and actually do something about it. We have the power to make the change that we need. We can vote. It's time to put our votes where our mouths are. It's time for the youth to stand together and become a driving force responsible for electing into political office a group of people who will collectively put in interest us first. We are the future. We are young. We are the force that will influence positive change in our community and our country. We must not stay silent. We must not remain passive and timid. We must no longer be conned by empty promises by those who continue to take us for granted and treat us like side notes to their reckless and self-centered political agendas. Our votes are too precious to be bought and to be sold. It's our responsibility to make our voices heard and our votes counted. It's our responsibility to tell politicians that they are expired when they have, over and over again, failed the country and its youths. It's time to let them know that we need more. We deserve more. More, and we demand more. If we don't hold them accountable now, our future will continue to be eroded. Posting on Facebook or simply talking about our problems when we meet to Lyme is not enough. Talk alone will not do it. Complaining alone will not bring about the changes we seek as a young voting bloc. As the saying goes, talk is cheap. We have to do more than just talk and complain if we are serious about our future and the future of our country. We have to act. We have to work. We have to transition into the force for change. Only then can we make the impact that is needed. Only then can we become deliberate and are taken seriously. Bottom line, we can vote. All the protests that we see happening in the US and further abroad are led by young people like you and I. They have banded together to make their voices heard in a tangible form. We can take a page from their book. Even if the situations are different, we have the power to influence change. To do this force for change, there are some basic things that we must do now. Get registered if you are 18 years old and over. 2, volunteer your service to the campaign for change. 3, stay informed, stay focused. Do not be drawn to political cultism. Do not just twaddle empty and senseless political slogans. These are designed to distract us from the real horror we face on a daily basis. We are smarter than that. 4, be respectful to all, even when you do not agree with them all. 5, vote like your very lives depend on it, because it really does. Vote because you understand that we need better representation. Vote because we need people in office who understand that the youth is an unstoppable resource full of promise and potential. Vote because we need people in office who will ensure that the youth are given better opportunities to flourish. Vote because we need people in office who believe in people like you and I. Central Leeward, we need a chance. We need Benjamin Exeter to represent the people of Central Leeward, especially the youth. We need Godwin Friday and the entire NDP team to put in place policies designed to lift us up, designed to empower us to do more and to be more. In 2020 has been a year of force. It's been a year for change. And it's time to bring that change to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So let's get up, stand up, and fight for hope. Fight for our future, the future of Central Leeward and the future of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Young people of Central Leeward, on election day, mark X for Exeter. One nation, one people, one Vincy, one love.
Yellow Army,
I thank you.
Pauline, rescue mission time.
Come on, give them a round of applause. DJ, turn up that tune there for me, please.
Sweet SVG.
Turn up that tune there for me, please, DJ. Come on, come on.
Have a problem.
We ready for them?
Time for it to end.
Oh, yes.
Chase all those corrupt men.
Come on, turn up the vibes, turn up the vibes, turn up the vibes.
So powerful.
Oi!
Oh, space as can be.
And this one hotting up the head enough. This one hotting up the head. Oi!
Lead in the treasury. Save the country.
Save the country.
Vote NDP.
You vote in NDP.
Yellow Army, come join with me.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, like I say, it's serious business tonight. It is serious business tonight. 2020 is going to be a year that people will remember. 2020 and beyond is going to be plenty with the NDP. Plenty opportunities for young people in this country. Plenty jobs for young people in this country. When you go to the polls, on election day, and let us speak to the young people. I want all NDP supporters. I want you to engage the young people in your community. Engage the young people in this country. Talk to them. Have a conversation with them. You will be surprised how many of them are unemployed. How many of them are hungry for opportunities to create an independent income to help support themselves and their family members. We must talk to them and we must engage them. And we must tell them and convince them that with the new Democratic Party, there is opportunity, there is jobs, and there is prosperity with the NDP going forward. The new Democratic Party shows that in its team, in its yellow team, in its yellow army team, with the new, young, vibrant, energetic, fiery set of candidates that have come on board with the NDP. One such individual is the next speaker that I'm going to bring to the podium. When I hear this brother speak, ladies and gentlemen, when I hear him interact with the persons in his community and in his constituency, and by extension, this country, it shows that the NDP has its finger on the pulse of what the young people of this country want. Hence the reason why he is the man who is going to run things in the constituency in the next election in this country and bring it to where it deserves. Back home with the new Democratic Party. They sent some fellas in his constituency, in his community, in his hometown the other day, thinking that they could persuade people to continue to support them. Well, he didn't wait. He answered back one time. And I am sure tonight, after his virtual meeting, he is here again tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to stick it to them some more and tell them why you should vote solidly and cut loose in the constituency of South Central Windward with Israel Bruce, ladies and gentlemen.
2001 they needed a change. What's the cry of the nation? Too much of one thing good for nothing. Everywhere you pass they all chanting, hey, what we want, what we go get. Agro industry, doctors healthcare for all. Stamp out corruption, like policy. 4 tons come and gone, ain't seen nothing yet. So with this well bruised, we cut him loose. With this well bruised, conquer this well bruised. We cut him loose. With this well bruised, ziggy diggy diggy dingy dingy. This well bruised, we cut him loose.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Master of Ceremony. Thank you, DJ. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you, South Central Windward. You know, in my few years of playing cricket for the Adelphi Secondary School, if they had a position to bat number 12, I am sure that I would have been batting at number 12. All of a sudden, I find myself as part of the opening pair. So all I have done tonight is to translate that to my bowling experiences, because of course, as short as I am, I was the opening fast bowler for the Adelphi Secondary School team and became affectionately known as Waka. So tonight, don't expect me to be hitting balls to the boundary, but expect Yorkers and bouncers, because that is the very nature of this political cricketer. President of the New Democratic Party, the Honorable Godwin Friday, Vice Presidents Leacock and Matthews, Jensek, James and Piero King. Lavon, I'm not making that mistake tonight. I have it lined up. Husbands and wives of candidates, brothers and sisters who are in the hall here in Kingston, our wonderful viewers on Facebook here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and those of you in the Vincentian diaspora. And I have some friends, one of them said to me, you big up St. George's and Castries and other places, you didn't big up my city. So I try not to big up any of the cities lest I get accused of leaving somebody out. My friends, we are here tonight because we want to continue to have a conversation with the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines as to how we as a new Democratic Party, a political institution, proposes to transform St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the betters. And you'll find tonight that my own presentation may be a little different than you have been accustomed to. I want to, for the remainder of time that I have here tonight, to pitch my conversation within the framework of accountability. Because we are dealing with a government that has demonstrated that it does not want to be accountable to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I mean that they don't want to be accountable when it comes to creating meaningful jobs for the young people of this country. That lack of accountability is embodied in cronies, friends, and bosom buddies pitched across the political landscape of this country, placed in all different positions, while the young people, the ambitious young people of this country and my constituency, the qualified young people of this country and my constituency are bawling day and night to find meaningful employment. But hope is here. There is hope for the young people of this country in the new Democratic Party, led by Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday and this excellent team of men and women. My friends, I promise this country that in the presentation tonight, I will continue to address other points with regards to my 10-point plan for the advancement of the constituency of South Central Windward. I'd gotten some time to start to give you a taste of where we are talking and where we were placing our emphasis with regards to agricultural development. Now, you're aware that the constituency of South Central Windward is principally an agricultural constituency. And tonight, my duty is to ensure that you understand that we should not be a forgetful people. Because not too long ago, the governing party brought a man to this country from the United Kingdom. We don't know if he came from a classroom. We don't know if he came from a mental home. We don't know where he came from, but he came to deliver a message alongside the Unity Labour Party. And that message was, if the people vote the ULP to office, that the banana industry was going to come back to its glory days. My friends, you wonder why the constituencies of South Central and South Windward and North Central and North Windward, you're still wondering why they locked with the ULP over those elections? Because they are farming communities and they were tricked by the Unity Labour Party. They were deceived by the Unity Labour Party. When the elections were over, farmers were hoping to have their business up and running and to have jobs created in the constituencies. What we had Brother Igel, we had Banana Salvation Committee, headed by Cecil Ryan. And they went across the country, and they said that they were going to bring salvation back to the banana industry. 20 years later, we have not seen the sal nor the vision. And if that was not good enough, when the New Democratic Party, recognizing how important agriculture is to the national economy, we said that farmers will get the support of this New Democratic Party. And as part of that support mechanism, the party said that we would see to it that 1,000 acres of lands would go back on the banana cultivation. And during that period, the farmers who are producing will be given some monies to carry their families until they get to production. The Unity Labour Party jumped up like red ants bite them. Tack, tack. And they said, oh, we will do 2,000 acres. 3 years into their term of office, they asked the Minister of Agriculture, how many acres have gone into banana? Because you said you will do 2,000 acres in the first year. I said, no, we didn't say that. We said 2,000 acres over the entire 5-year period. But up to the 3rd year, they had less than 20 acres of bananas back on the cultivation. My friend St. Lucia is selling bananas to the United Kingdom. St. Lucia is selling bananas to Martinique. Flip that coin. The hard-working farmers of Lauders and Lowmans and Chapmans and New Adelphi, what do they have to do? Put wooden sticks to their sides and come to Kingston to Mako People's Building. That is what this government reduced hard-working farmers in this country to. Glorified watchman, I am advised. Tonight is for a serious conversation. It is because this government subscribes to a political philosophy and notion that if you keep the people poor and ignorant, that they feel they would manage them better. And that is what they set out to do. But I say to the farmers of South Central, hope is here. The New Democratic Party, with the farmers of this country at heart, is here for you. So your agricultural feeder roads will be put in. So I said to the farmers in Ocean Wood, I said to the farmers in Kemakabru, I said to the farmers in Caneland, I said to the farmers in Tiburon Mountain, I said to the farmers in Waterfall, and to all the other farmers across the constituency, help is coming. I hear your cry that you need proper markets for your produce. And as you so do, you would employ more and more persons in your farms. My friends, before I take my seat tonight, I want to be crystal clear on this point. Too many farmers in my constituency are crying day after day after day. Well, you could say Pirelli had larceny. I'm saying for thieving. Too many persons are waiting until my hard-working farmers go and produce, and up to the point of reaping time, you go and you meet the dashing stock on the ground. Some of them are so brazen that they clean the dashing right in your plantation, leave the stock there for you, and gone with the dashing. Poor old woman in Lauders, Joan Humphrey, X amount of animals. If she had 9, they take 8 and leave 1 for she. This New Democratic Party will ensure that we tighten the laws to protect the farmers of this country and the constituency of South Central Windward. We will not allow for thieves to destroy the productive psyche of our farmers and this country. Your production means a lot to a New Democratic Party government. Your production means that you would help us in our goal to reduce importation and to improve and expand on exportation and give us harder currency to produce the goods and services for the people of this country. I said to the professionals in the offices and consulates abroad, and I said to those who may be appointed, do not get excited about the job if you're not prepared to go out there and work with trade missions to help to find markets for our farmers. So when you hear Israel Bruce coming to New York for a meeting, those of you in the consulate, don't rest happy, because by the time I land in the USA, you must have several meetings set up for me to discuss market possibilities for the farmers in my country. It will not be a place where you go and enjoy the luxuries of New York or Manhattan or London. This party is about hard and serious work. This party is about providing for the people of this country. So my friends, I am talking market for our farmers. And once we find market for our farmers, we will be providing jobs for our young people. I said to those young people at school who have an interest in the subject area of trade negotiations, unfair competition, and the likes, forge ahead, because this New Democratic Party will help you. This New Democratic Party will support you to further your qualification and have meaningful, serious job in agriculture and trade. So we're talking from planting to production. I say to the Jose Peters in Lauders who have her planting chips business that this New Democratic Party will give further support to businesses like yours, agribusinesses. I say to the young man on the block in Chapman's who wants to take the guavas and the papaya and the sourshops and the mangoes and set up his small smoothie shop, that this New Democratic Party will be supporting those types of jobs for our young people. Understand that to mean that whilst we are talking job creation for our young people, we are also talking about developing that culture of entrepreneurship amongst our young people, and at the same time providing markets for the farmers of this country. Don't think for a moment that we're simply sliding things and words from our tongues without actually understanding that there is a direct correlation between what happens in one department and the other in the overall schematic things of the macroeconomy for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We're not here to waste time. You might see me come to the podium and have a dance, but come election day, the day after the election, my friends, get ready for hard work. Because we will accept no less. I say to you, my friends, that the area of community development is crucial for all of us. But I don't want to rush my way through talking to my people about what I want to do for them and with them as part of my 10-point plan. I believe and I subscribe wholeheartedly to the expanding environmental model of political development. So I am starting at the base with the people, and together we will rise to the apex. Don't want to operate like the political grave digger who wants to start at the top. But before I take my seat, I want to ask a few questions. Is there currently existing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines an agricultural training institute? If there is one, who is the director or executive director of the Agriculture Training Institute? Who are the staff members of the Agriculture Training Institute? Are there components of the Agriculture Training Institute operating at resource centers across the country? How many workers do we have at the Dumbarton Agricultural Station on 2 plots of lands? I want some answers to those questions, because those of you who are either directly dealing with the taxpayers' money of this country improperly, or aiding and abetting its misuse, and don't have proper streams for accountability, I tell you, my friends, bouncers coming. Bouncers coming. And when you anticipate a bouncer, a yarker will come. Those questions are serious questions for answers. And I am awaiting the answers. South Central Windward, you would hear me on community development. You would hear me further on sports, skills and ICT. You will hear me on healthcare. I know my friend in the UK says she wants to hear my plans for Chapman's, and particularly with healthcare. Don't be too hurry. This party is not a hurry party. We are building our foundation solidly, plank by plank, sector by sector. Listen to my next presentation, and you'll hear me as I address the matters pertaining to healthcare and health development in the constituency of South Central Windward. St. Vincent, the NDP loves you. Get ready for change. Jobs, jobs, and more jobs. South Central, I love you. God bless you.
2001, they needed a change. What's the cry of the nation? Too much of one thing good for
Come
nothing.
on, all you make some noise.
Everywhere you
Make some noise, Israel Bruce.
What we want, what we go get. Agro industry, top class healthcare for all. Stamp out corruption.
I want the party. No, don't cut it yet. Don't cut it yet. We want the part where we cut it loose. I want the part where we cut it loose.
So with this well bruised,
Hey!
we're cutting loose. With this well bruised.
Hey! If that tune is sweet one more time, yeah?
With Israel Bruce.
Alright. We cutting loose with Israel Bruce. Ladies and gentlemen in the hall here tonight, and those of you viewing on social media, when I told you at the beginning, at the start of this live virtual meeting tonight, that tonight is serious business, you think I've been making joke? Or you think I was making joke? And Israel, like he say, he's the whacker. He's the opening batsman tonight. Already I know that message tonight has sent shockwaves in South Central Windward. The people in South Central Windward realize now, and will continue to realize as we go along, that Israel Bruce is serious about real representation and leadership in South Central Windward. And it is about time. The New Democratic Party has a dynamic team this upcoming general elections. One I am proud of, ladies and gentlemen, because it is not just filled with dynamic men, but has shown the people of this country that it is also filled with dynamic women and as well. But tonight we're bringing out the big guns. Tonight we're bringing out the big guns for them. The next speaker that I'm going to bring to the podium, ladies and gentlemen, I admire him tremendously. for the sacrifice, for the dedication, for the hard work, and the selflessness that he has put in the constituency. It has been an uphill battle, a heavy task for this candidate. But he continues to fight the good fight for the people of Central Leeward. He continues to fight the good fight for the people of Central Leeward. And the injustice that was done in Central Leeward should not and will not be tolerated in this upcoming general elections. Because we stand in solidly. Because when the other fella on the other side don't know whether he here, there, over there, or coming from behind here, Ben know exactly where he stands. Put your X solidly for Brother Benjamin Exeter. Make some noise and welcome Central Leeward in the house.
No matter our calling, we the people of Central Leeward, no matter our calling, we the people of Central Leeward believe in fairness and justice. We have watched these past 5 years as neither had been served.
There's nothing happening here in Central Leeward because there's nothing they could show me that is progressive.
That's why this next fight is not just my fight, it is our fight. Politics has never been a short distance race, so I have never stopped running. I have never stopped fighting, faithfully, and even against many odds, you have never stopped dreaming. Your future cannot wait another 5 years. Justice must be served. Fairness must be done. Better must come.
Change me, I go stay rough. Inna the giddy and you have to buckle up your lace. Be smart, don't be a prof, no, no. Life, it's a journey, it's a long race. Mama says, son, be wise and don't bring disgrace. So me take up the broom and start sweep the place. Cause all these ways, they got to get erased. I love to me people that me embrace. The truth are the truth and that can't erase. So hell to all of those who want hate. Just send me to finish this race. So we ain't giving up now. We put up a fight. We got to be ready, cause time's getting dreary. Just said, don't you worry, I'll be in a hurry, Lord, we got to be ready.
Good evening to one and all. Good evening to those of you who can hear my voice via the internet and for those of you by the radio here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good evening to my colleagues and my supporters of the New Democratic Party. And a special good evening to my people in Central Leeward. I know that these are the early days of this campaign, but I must say I've been encouraged by the enthusiasm shown and by the unquestionable desire for change. The vanguard of this change movement can be seen in Central Leeward, where people are getting registered and being mobilized. We know that the panic is already setting in among our opponents. Not only that the sheer numbers are against them, but the fact that people are more vigilant than the last time. We are more determined that our deserved victory shall never be stolen from us again. But to ensure that, we understand we have to continue to mobilize. We have to continue to have people registered. And when the time comes, vote in huge numbers. The larger the numbers, the harder it is for them to cheat. And we know, so goes Central Leeward, so goes the nation. If we win Central Leeward, we win the nation. We know that. They know that. That's why the desperation has set in. And that's why we cannot let our guards down. The stakes has never been higher. You see how desperate they were the last time. But this time is 10 times worse. That's why, my friends, we cannot sleep. The key in this period is our eternal vigilance, and we must stay on the ball until victory is declared. I was asked recently, what drives me? I replied, you do. I'm driven by the faces of hopelessness that I see in our young people. I'm driven by the lack of proper medical care for our elderly. And I'm driven by potential squandered. I could get up here and give you a laundry list of what is wrong in this country under this oppressive administration. But I'll spare you, for you already know. You already know about the high failure and dropout rates of our young minds and 46% unemployment rate among our youth. You already know that they don't have a Vinci first mentality. They don't care about the hard-working people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They focus on satisfying investors at the expense of our employees, farmers, landowners of this nation. You already know that they're not about the empowerment of our people, but rather our oppression. But I ain't here to tell you what you already know. Brothers and sisters, tonight is a different night. Tonight is not about them. Tonight is about you. Tonight is about the empowerment of our people. Tonight is about how Dr. Friday and the new Democratic Party exists to empower you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and to do more, be more, and to achieve more. We believe in policies that will teach a man to fish so that it could be fed for a lifetime. This is a philosophy of an NDP government, one that seeks to empower and uplift its people. We are true to our motto, one nation, one people, one Vinci. NDP is not simply focused on building concrete structures, but rather we are ready to build communities and build lives. The New Democratic Party plans to help build the lives of the people of Central Leeward by the development of the blue economy. Our blue economy policy is that one that is designed to exploit our more than 200 nautical miles of fishing zone and give our fisher folk, women, and youth the kind of hand up that they need to live up to the true and full potential. Our people aren't lazy. Our people don't want to wait around at the end of the month to collect poor relief. Our people need hope and a government that cares. They need support to get back on their feet. That's what they need. Our blue economy plan will see the expansion of our fishing industry and result in job and wealth creation for the people of Central Leeward. We will make substantial capital investment in upgrading the landing sites and fishing plants in Barrowley. We will look to utilize technology to aid in catch management, where we are able to understand the demand for fish production and analyze the expected catch so that our fisher folk can participate on a tourism and export market in a meaningful way. The worldwide estimated annual sales value of fish is over $140 billion. We need a piece of that. We deserve a piece of that. Our people have the necessary skills needed to be part of this lucrative market. And for those who don't have the skills, our blue economy policy will make available technical assistance, including training, scholarships, and exchange programs to ensure that we are more efficient, more productive, more competitive, and more successful. An NDP government will provide much needed financial injections through low interest loans and grants, concessions, incentives, and tax exemptions for our people to purchase or lease vessels, and power business startups, expansions, and rapid growth. Our local business people should be able to receive duty-free concessions to help them start and grow their businesses. Why should this just be something foreigners benefit from? Why not us? We will build a fishing industry where we'll enable our people to do more and be more. An industry where people are empowered to create wealth for their families. We are promoting a politics that's transformative rather than transactional. We've seen that far too long in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Oh, and Central Leeward, you know they will come saying that we are dreamers. Tell them yes. Tell them that we are dreaming of a better St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Tell them we dream of the day when we see St. Vincent and the Grenadines return to a prosperous nation. Tell them yes, because dreams of freedom and equality are what spurs revolutions. People of Central Leeward, we say, dare to dream. They said that I had an education revolution. We are about to have the empowerment revolution, a revolution where our people are given the support they need to live out their true potential. It's no longer good enough for St. Vincent and the Grenadines to have a catch-up plan. We can't be looking to catch up to our neighboring islands. No, we need to surpass. Our motto should be, dream big, go hard, make a difference. In 2017, fishing accounted for 24.52 shares of Grenada's export. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a mere 4.78%. St. Vincent and the Grenadines export twice the amount of fish than we export. Meanwhile, our neighbors in Grenada export twice as much as they import. Something is seriously wrong here. This must change. Our food security depends on a robust fishing and agricultural policy. We need bold initiative plans that will see us leapfrog over our other nations. We've been there before. We can do it again. The new bold vision for St. Vincent and the Grenadines is one which technology is infused with every aspect of our lives, from government to tourism to education to healthcare, farming, and fishing. Let's make fishing and farming exciting for our young people, one where they could apply modern technologies to the craft for ultimate productivity and enhanced livelihood. Countries like Grenada, St. Lucia, Barbados, Turks and Caicos all have fish fry festivals. What about us? A fish fry festival in Central Leeward would help to make Barrowley a tourism destination for international guests and attract locals from the Windward Island, side of the island, and provide much needed economic spin-off in our town of Barrowley. We can seize this opportunity for growth and empowerment, but we have to dream big, go hard, and make a difference. With a thriving fishing industry, Central Leeward would experience a revitalized economy, higher levels of employment and wealth, and pride of its people. This might be a dream now. It would only remain a dream if this administration is permitted to remain in office. But when the people of Central Leeward stand up for equality, stand up for democracy, and stand up for empowerment, then this dream shall be realized through your next representative of Central Leeward, yours truly, Benjamin Exeter, and a new Democratic Party administration. People of Central Leeward, hard workers of Central Leeward, single mothers of Central Leeward, youth of Central Leeward, dream big, go hard, make a difference. Our time has come. Change is on its way. From the tip of South Leeward throughout Central Leeward and to the bottom of North Leeward and all places in between, we hear the chant for change. We hear the cry for change. People want change. I say to you tonight that my brothers from the Leeward Zone, Roland Patel Matthews, Nigel Najer Stevenson, and I, we hear your cry. we feel your pain, and we say that change is on its way. If you're over 18 years of age and you haven't registered to vote, I urge you to go out and get registered. This is your time. Young people all over the Caribbean are rising up to the call of being part of change, and change is currently what we need here. Then on election day, mark your X for hope, mark your X for change, mark your X by the key, mark your X for Exeter.
One nation, one people, one Vinci. Thank you.
It's election season, and we want all qualified voters of Central Leeward to understand the process when they go to the polls and mark their X for Exeter. 1. Double check that your name is on the final voters list days before the election and confirm your polling station. 2. Present your ID card and follow the instructions of the presiding officer. 3. Identify yourself by speaking your name loud enough so that all the officers can hear you. 4. Go behind the voting screen and mark your X next to the key and the candidate Exeter. 5. Fold your ballot twice as instructed by the presiding officer to protect the secrecy of your vote. Make sure that when you fold your ballot, the presiding officer's stamp and initials are exposed, but the names of the candidates, party symbols, and your X are covered up. 6. Do not show anyone who you voted for. 7. Give the folded ballot to the presiding officer so that she can see her stamp and initials without opening your folded ballot. 8. Dip your finger into the ink. 9. The presiding officer will detach the counterfoil. Watch while your unopened ballot is put into the box. And 10. Smile. Know that a vote for the key is a vote for a renewed, revived SVG.
Leeward! They're missing one thing in the video. They're missing one thing in the video. When you proudly vote for Exeter, you come out. You come out with your X on your chest for Exeter, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, the next speaker that I am going to bring to the podium here tonight. I remember all year up, before we in the heat of the meat of the pot right now, I was going down to Nice Radio to host the New Times program. And before I walked into the studio, I hear, well, he calling me Papa now. I heard from his porch, Papa, I need to talk to you. Many times I say on the radio of late that I have officially flipped the switch and I am in full campaign mode. But ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman flipped the switch for campaign mode months ago. And he has been on that agenda ever since. On his last virtual meeting, he wasn't holding back. He has said plain and straight that the gloves are off. He said, Colin, this ain't no time now to skylark and joke. This is time now for serious business. This is time now for serious issues. And tonight, after what I saw in the last virtual meeting from Central Leeward, I know tonight he coming to lick some shots. Ladies and gentlemen, after his last virtual meeting, somebody went on a podium and stood wrong and said plain and straight that the major going to get heart attack this upcoming general elections. Well, we sending more messages for them tonight because the major ain't holding back. Ain't holding back no more punches. Tonight, to share more blows, welcome from Central Leeward, Vice President of the NDP, the Major.
This world running shouldn't have to be, 'cause now every man's got this belly play.
Now we got the music. Now we got the music. I'm turning up.
Come down, Father, come down. Come down, Father, come down. Whenever you come down, Father, come down.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. DJ. What a beautiful audience here tonight at Democrat House. Well, I have in the audience my Vice President, who is uncontested as the most beautiful part of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the nature and the major task now for the most wonderful people. But I believe we can try, at least tonight. Good night, nature. Honorable Senator Bruce, somewhere in the audience, wonderful presentation tonight. Well, Ben is growing, and growing fast. And I believe it's no coincidence, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, that we had South Central, you hear that word Central? And I don't mind if they come in force for the results, you know, because that's government. And then we have Central Leeward, more government. Central Kingston, seat of government. Colin, I see you want to draw me out by indicating that I've got under the skin of the Prime Minister. I was waiting for that, you know, because St. Vincent and the Grenadines know very well that I don't run against the surrogates that he put up. I run against him. He said, keep the crummer there. But time, you have to keep your powder dry. I want him to say a few more things. Just a few more. And when I talk, he'll put his hand on his head. Remember I said that? When I talk, and I want to talk after him, he can put his hand on his head. Brothers and sisters, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Central Kingstown, the diaspora. The other morning I was in the middle of my morning walk, and our public relations officer gave me a shout, wanted me to do a little show, a little duty for the party. And she said, where were you? I said I was in the Green Hill plant. I was at the top of the mountain looking down on Central Kingstown and feeling good about it. And then she said, I've been following your presentations, you know, Major. It's a series. I said, you got that right. Tonight is part 2. Tonight is part 2. And tonight, as I bring you greetings, normally not a person to speak on political platforms with paper, but tonight is a paper night. I start with a declaration, and I go to a document from the Economic Survey of Latin America and the Caribbean, and it speaks about the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. That's the people who control our EC dollar. They mean a lot to us. I just want to extract something from that presentation. Our central bank said, continuing robust performance of the tourism sector and construction activity, fueled by citizenship, by investment, CBI programs, are expected to drive the currency union-wide GDP growth of 3.3% in 2019. And it went on to say Antigua and Barbuda with 5.9% and Grenada with 3.7% are projected to be among the fastest growing economies in the Caribbean. In paragraph 2 of that same report, it said strong inflows from the Citizens by Investment programs drove the currency account surplus upwards, offsetting increased capital spending and improving the overall fiscal position. Now, if the central bank says the Citizens by Investment program is good, who is Ralph and Company? Who is Ralph and Company after the central bank and the governor has spoken? The Caribbean Development Bank, that's the bigger bank. They said public sector construction, and they're talking about St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you know, by capital expenditure fell 29.6%, reflecting the continuous slow pace of implementation of government's capital program in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And they consider, meanwhile, growth in real estate, renting and private sector business, which accounts for the largest contribution to GDP, remains subdued, pressed down, with a growth rate of 1.4%, slightly lower than its performance in the previous year. In other words, we continue to slide. Central Bank was saying things not nice in our St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So, the people who know about economics, know about accounts, know about the well-being of our region are telling us, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, do something. Tonight, I do something that I've done before in our budgetary presentations, and you would ask me why I do it. Because very often people don't have time to bother with what's going on in the parliament. But as I said earlier this week, it's election time. We have the ears, we have the attention, and maybe it's been an oversight on behalf of our party and some of us that we haven't driven it home as forcefully as we should. Tonight I want to do that and revisit that. I have previously said in the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that we have to pay more attention to what is said to us by our Director of Audit. And I go back again, second, third, or fourth time maybe, to a statement that was made in 2004 and 5. It might be repetition, but it's good for emphasis. By the Director of Audit then, Mr. Snag. Over the last years, 6 years, the actual outturn of capital revenue has been showing financing for capital works was not always forthcoming. In other words, the money that the government says that it will get is not there. This meant that adequate funds were not raised to finance and execute a number of projects, including the capital budget for the financial years. And this is the advice they said 16 years ago. The government should consider reviewing the total estimates for capital expenditure, since these large shortfalls in capital revenue have implications for the credibility of the capital budget. In other words, the government does tell lie. The Auditor General was bold and brave enough to say that they're telling lies. This, brothers and sisters, bold statement of the Director of Audit, which speaks to the absence of robust growth in the Caribbean and in St. Vincent, is what I have referred then and referred now as a credibility gap in the Unity Labour Party. Put another way, can we really believe what they say? Is it time for people to let go something? Let go the Unity Labour Party and hold on to something much better, the New Democratic Party. I follow now, having read a statement, with an interrogation, a question. Why is St. Vincent and the Grenadines not doing better? Contrary to the impression that has been given day in, day out, night after night, year after year, that all is well. All these microwave statements that are presented to us of this great bonanza, of this beautiful land, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, under the Unity Labour Party government. The truth be told, part of that question could be answered again by the report of the Auditor General. And I go to the 2007 report, page 11, in which it states response to audit inquiries by the department are not fulfilled, by and large, by the government. And the Auditor General says, I am disheartened and disappointed
that of 244 questions issued by the audit department, only 42 replies were given. They don't answer the director of audit, their own director of audit. So if they don't answer the director of audit, who are we? Who are we? And the strong director of audit at the time said this, something that St. Vincent never paid attention. The disregard of Section 72 of the Constitution is a prime example of what constitutionalism is not about. That's the director of audit speaking to his prime minister, you know. The way you're running St. Vincent and the Grenadines and failing to account is a total absence of constitutional rule. I'm making this case why he should not go back there. That's the case I'm making. Last lap. In 2008, the director of audit had gone. Snag went home. We had a new director of audit. New director, same music. This is what she said. Because of the significance of the matters described above, a whole load of things she laid out, I have not been able to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence to provide a basis for my audit opinion. Accordingly, I do not express an opinion of the financial statements. In other words, she can't say if the government books are true. I don't have no evidence. And this is a government that is telling you that they are running a good governance regime. Not Friday speaking, not Patel, not Nature, not Major. The director of audit saying, you're not keeping proper records and running this country properly. In 2010, Ms. Seeley is still in the job as director of audit. What does she say? The role of the Public Accounts Committee is critical to the government's accountability. Therefore, the non-functioning of the committee could result in the weakening of parliamentary control and is a source of frustration of the audit exercise, as permanent secretaries and heads of departments are not called to account for their stewardship. Imagine yourself as a Minister of Finance and your director of audit is saying that in this country, as the previous director of audit should have said, that we should have constitutional rule. One of the checks and balance, one of the oversight committees, your Public Accounts Committee, is deliberately not functioning because you, the government, are frustrating its performance. Ms. Seeley, the director of audit, would leave the audit department without seeing a Public Accounts Committee meeting being held. Think about it. Think about it. Patient with me. I'm walking you through. 2011. And here I want to do two things. And the two things I want to do here is for us to say that the Director of Audit drew to the attention of the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines that the government don't even spend the recurrent money that they say they have voted. So we go to the Parliament and we approve money for the government to spend, and not even that. On the recurrent side, you know, they don't spend it. I slow down and I extract 2 ministries for good reasons. Because we have to know why we are where we are in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the mess that we're stewing in. The Ministry of Agriculture, Patel, Forestries and Fisheries. The ministry has a total of 26 projects earmarked for the year at an estimated cost of $13 million. How much? I said? 26 projects. 21 of these projects incurred no expenditure. of the 26 things you say you will do in the Ministry of Agriculture, in 21 of them, you did nothing. You understand that? The Ministry of Transport and Works, spent $6 million, or 21% of its revised budget. In other words, 80% of the money voted for the Transport and Work Ministry was not spent. What's important about that? You know what's important? They are the two principal employment and growth engines of government. So if agriculture is not doing its work, exercising and exploiting that which we have, our competitive and comparative advantage, as Fitzramble will tell you as an economist, where are we going? If Transport and Works can't find money from the Minister of Finance to fix the roads, bridges, schools, and maintain government's property, even the courthouse, the Parliament building, have trees growing on the roof. Where do we expect to get the jobs from? Walking you through for good reasons, so that people, because the ULP and the minions have a way of talking, why change? Why go to NDP? Them not have nothing for offer. Good government, keep the camera there, things nice. Not so, says their authority, the audit department, 2012. It's an interesting section, you know. 2012. And I take you to page 36, in which it points out that the comparisons for actual capital expenditure for the years showed a 60% decline. In other words, we're pedaling back in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And it went on to say, where capital expenditure is concerned, we only spent 29% of the money approved by the Parliament. In other words, for every dollar we approve, only 29 cents was spent. If that was the case, how did the students from college get work? How does the ordinary man on the street get work when the money isn't there? That's what we mean by the credibility gap, you know. It's a lie. But I jump over to 2013 because this captures it more graphically. Don't be mesmerized by the facts and figures. It's patient major. In 2009, the government was supposed to spend $260 million. They spent $130. In 2010, they should have spent $309 million. They spent $83. In 2011, they put down that they'll spend $187. They spent $72. In 2012, they said they will spend $188. They spent $54. In 2013, they said they will spend $388. They spent $151. In 2014, they said they'll spend $330. They spent $126. 2015, they said they'll spend $296. They spent $99. 2016, they'll spend $198. They spent $78. 2017, they'll spend $230. They spent $122. 2018, we'll spend $216. They spent $99. 2019, they'll spend $223. Again, they spent $99. And we're into 2020 now. We don't know how much they would spend. Now, brothers and sisters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I have walked you through some figures and performances and audits in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But that's not the story, you know. That's not the story that Major has come here to talk to and share with you tonight. I told the snag left And Steely left. And they left the Minister of Finance to his own machinations. Same people are asking for a 5th term of office. But you know what's the sad story? The sad story, and I want the media to take this up, is that this government came into office, Pato, in 2015. This is 2020. They will leave government without one single year of the last 5 years in office being audited. In other words, this country has no clue of the veracity, the accuracy, the truthfulness of where we are in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because this government has not been audited. Lack of accountability. That's why they can carry on so. And that's the point I want to drive home. We're in 2020, in a COVID year. I don't know if you all really understand how badly we are, how bad it is. If they leave and when they leave office now, we will not know what happened in 2020 till the year 2027. In other words, a new government will come into place and serve for 5 years, and we still would not have heard what happened with COVID money. You get the picture what Major is trying to bring to your attention? How serious this accountability problem is? Huh? Now, don't tell me that it happened with NDP or anybody who couldn't pay. If you are serious about governance and accountability, you would say, we're behind. But you know what, Director? I want to come up to date. So, we just won an election now in 2015. Now we bring the thing forward. So one team of people dealing with the current state of affairs and another group of people dealing with the backlog. So we have some semblance of what's happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because the records are showing us where we should go. Now, I want to return to where I started tonight. I started with a statement from our central bank, which saying the citizenship by investment program is good for us. I gave that a top up. I showed that the bigger bank, the Caribbean Development Bank, said that is so true, and I will proceed full speed ahead and put that in place. I read for you now, what a bigger bank than our central bank and the Caribbean Development Bank had to say, namely the International Monetary Fund. The liquidity injection to Caribbean economies creates significant societal and sovereign value. It helps to diversify the economies of these regions. It creates sustainable employment and eases the fiscal and monetary challenges that are faced by sovereign governments the world over. You know what? You help me say, they must sell passport. They must sell passport. So while he could hardly raise the money to spend, Vincentians are here catching hell, starving out of pride, and he fully knows that if re-elected, they will go back to the same thing, to only look after half of St. Vincent, while the NDP suffer and die. That is the question before St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That even before we can attend to the jobs, we must speak to you honestly and truthfully. The Unity Labour Party has no solution, no creativity, no innovation, no leadership to take St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the promised land. As our leader, Dr. Friday, says, the only show on the road in the town is the New Democratic Party. And you therefore have an obligation to go to the polls and vote solidly for every representative of the New Democratic Party. You've heard tonight, as you heard before, somebody with vision in the way the Honorable Senator from South Central Windward speaks. You hear the intimacy he has with his constituency, from street to village to rivers to mountains to plains to valleys. He has learned from Patel and nature, because you could hardly beat them with constituency representation. They know the people intimately. You hear Ben with the same line of thinking and reasoning. Ben speaks, for example, about the importance of the fishing sector, the blue economy that Pat will speak a little bit more later about. And you can't do that without thinking outside of the box. There's every good reason why the Coast Guard must be transformed to a school of teaching, that our young men on the blocks go to school there. Look, we have a former commander here in the audience. Teach them how to handle trawlers and fishing boats into marine culture. Get the best of our fishermen. Use our development bank and provide them with trawlers that we can move from $5 million worth of fishing to the $50 million that can be made possible in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's how we transform a society. Do the apprenticeship programs again that my brother from South Central Windward spoke about. All the young men who have dropped out of school and don't want to go back, whether they want to take the route of Senator Bruce and attach them to outstanding professional and tried craftsmen in the villages, or you want to send them back to human resource schools at Water Authority so that they can leave as certified plumbers with the stamp of authority of Water Authority, or to Vinlet with the certified stamp as electrician, or the port as certified mechanic. Use the state institutions to bring our young people up to date and give them a second chance in life to make something of themselves. This is not just about jobs creation, but it's putting our people to become wealth creators. The New Democratic Party is the one and only party with that thinking, that image, for that brighter St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good night, thank you, God bless you, and love you.
Rescue mission time. Yellow Army, Pauline. Rescue mission time.
Central Leeward, come on and make some noise to the major. Graphics man, drop the Yellow Army logo there for me, please. Drop the Yellow Army logo there for me, please.
Pauline. Rescue mission time.
That's the Yellow Army logo, ladies and gentlemen. Only make sure you look out for it and get it on social media. You can put it up as your profile picture. You can put it up as a snap. This is the Yellow Army logo for the NDP for 2020. Major, you want to know where all the money gone? Yeah? All you want to know where all the money gone? Hey, where all the money gone?
Waiting for me. Crazy, it's Boboli.
All you want to know where all the money gone? Listen. Hey! Where the money gone? Where the money gone? Where the money gone? All the money gone. Hold on. I ain't had nothing more to say. Remember the conversation? All remember the conversation? That's where all the money gone. What a time in this country. What a government. What a mess, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Our president and leader of the New Democratic Party, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately was not able to be here with us tonight, but he sent a personalized greeting and message to all who are here tonight and those who are viewing on social media. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here is our president and leader of the New Democratic Party, the man who will be the next Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday.
I'm sorry I'm not with you in person tonight, as I was earlier this evening at a meeting with young people here in Beckwith. I spoke with them about our plan to grow our economy and create more jobs and opportunities for young people. We must support them and give them the opportunities they need for jobs so that they can prosper here and start a family and have a good future here. Many of our young people leave for opportunities overseas. We want them to have the option to live and work here at home by creating new jobs and opportunities for them here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As a small nation, our greatest resource is our people. The loss of many of our young people because of lack of good jobs is a loss for us all. One of the things that the young people have been telling us that is holding them back is our burdensome system of student loans. Our interest rate of 8.5% for such loans is one of the highest in the region. And our plan for jobs and growth will reduce this. For example, student loans in Barbados are at an interest rate of 5.5%. In Antigua, it is 3%. Grenada and Dominica also have lower rates than we do. Using the funds from our Citizenship by Investment program, we will put money in our development bank to support our students with cheaper loans. We have a target interest rate of 4.5%, which is achievable and will nearly half the interest payments our students and our young graduates pay now. We know they are struggling. For those with existing loans, we also want to give you the option to refinance. This is only possible because of our plan to bring in new investment from our Citizenship by Investment program and other foreign direct investment. Foreigners already invest in hotels, but we want the funds invested in the CBI to be invested in long-lasting, job-creating projects, in healthcare, and in our next generation. Investing in our people, creating jobs and opportunities makes sense and puts our country on the path to a brighter future. With your support, we can get St. Vincent and the Grenadines working again. Thank you for listening and for being a part of our virtual public meeting. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can't wait for the man to be the Prime Minister of this country. Talk about cool, calm, classy, and collective, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we need going forward. All right. The next speaker that I'm going to bring to the podium tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about real representation. Let us talk about real representation for a second, ladies and gentlemen. I had the opportunity, along with our president and leader, Dr. Godwin Friday, to walk with Nigel Nature Stevenson in his constituency. We visited the clinic in Camden Park. We walked through the constituency, and I remember vividly taking pictures and going into the clinic and seeing the state of the clinic and its surroundings. And we, and of course Nature and party president, were appalled by the condition of just that health clinic, and by extension, the whole constituency. utter neglect from this ULP administration and this government. Therefore, it is no reason why we shouldn't be, and the people in the constituency be disappointed by the level of which the ULP administration have neglected the people of this constituency represented by Nigel Nature Stevenson. They have a representative now who, in her own admission, have clearly stated that the constituency has been neglected, ignored, and left to suffer under her government and her political party. Laughable, and should be ashamed to go as far as to say that the people of the constituency only now deserve proper representation. Well, I tell you, the people have been having real representation in Nigel Nature Stevenson, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to continue to put your support with Nigel Nature Stevenson. Welcome to the podium, ladies and gentlemen. Let nature take its course, and this election for 2020, put your X solidly for Nigel Nature Stevenson, ladies and gentlemen.
In the morning, and I lay my head to rest. Every day of my life, I am blessed. Even though me say me praise God straight, make money straight, money it has straight, man bad mind straight. God knows say me straight, me love woman straight, me fuck.
DJ, you're not reading me, man. Come on. Good night. NDP family, good night. Pleasant good night to all of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who are listening to us on radio, and those of you who are viewing us via Facebook. I take the opportunity to recognize the presence of our Vice Presidents, Major Sinclair Leacock, definitely the Major. And it was a major performance tonight. Those of you who are at home and did not know that you have a government who is running a business, the affairs of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and after 5 years, has not once given the people who they say gave them the mandate to govern in their best interest, not a single day or year have they presented to our people an audit report. That is a government that has a lot to hide. Thank you, Major. The eyes of our people are opening wider and wider every single day. I recognize my other Vice President, Roland Patel Matthews, 1/3 of Trudy Hardway. My colleague, Ben Exeter, in the middle of us. And I want to assure the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who have been languishing for so long, that hope is on the way, because we will secure the Leeward Corridor. South Leeward, in the portion of the natural one, is a guardian coming from Kingston. So in order for them to get through to Central Leeward, they must pass through the Nature Boy, and that is not going to happen. And if you want to go by sea to try to penetrate Central Leeward, then the guardian on that side is Roland Patel Matthews. So we have fortified the Leeward zone, and we will bring them home for the New Democratic Party. Senator Israel Cotton Lewis Bruce. Wonderful, wonderful message again tonight. And I have no doubt in my mind, and I know the people of South Central Windward have no doubt in their minds, that after election closes, that there will be a new representative for that constituency. My friends in the audience, thank you very much for being here. You really are the wind beneath our wings. That is why we're behaving like this tonight. All of the people of St. Vincent, we thank you. And there are some wonderful people from the constituency of South Leeward. A very pleasant good night to you. And my young dems are all locked on. If I could only see your faces now. The Nature Boy is here to represent. It is really a pleasure for me to be here with my colleagues tonight. And I just want to share with the people, with you and also the people of South Leeward, a constituency that has been labeled the forgotten. But we have a plan to revive that constituency, to resuscitate that constituency, insofar that an individual, if he were living in the United States of America, would have undoubtedly been my running mate. Because the very things that we have been saying need to be done in South Leeward are what we're hearing in a major speech. So the people of South Leeward must recognize that you have two candidates running for the same thing. The difference is that the government of the day, whose umbrella the other person is running under, is the precise reason why we have been in this state of neglect for so long. And therefore, whenever that person comes around, I want you to say to her, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You've heard from my fellow candidates tonight the various plans to develop their constituencies and also St. Vincent and the Grenadines. With the election around the corner, all of us are consolidating and rallying and holding the hands of Dr. Friday, our leader and the next Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Our country is in desperate need of leadership. And we have even heard that from members of the government side. And if they can say that we are in desperate need for leadership, then what do you, the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, say? Leadership that you can believe in, leadership that can transform St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be offered to you by the New Democratic Party. If ever there was a time when we need a cool, calm, collective, and decent and competent leader, it is now. And we have that person in the person of Dr. the Honorable Godwin Friday and his competent team that is playing a supporting role. Major talk so much tonight about accountability or the lack thereof. We need to make this government accountable. They are not a law unto themselves. This is not a business that they have started by investing their own monies. They are running the business of St. Vincent and the Grenadines based on the fact that you have invested by voting for them. But I want you to understand that any government that you vote for is accountable to you. And if they don't account to you, then you should fire them. For far too long, St. Vincent and the Grenadines was held back by the Unity Labour Party. After 20 years in government, what can we say the Unity Labour Party have to show? What do they really have to show after 20 years in government? Well, I'll give you a couple of things that I believe that they can parade proudly with. High unemployment, lack of opportunities, especially for employment among youth, poor investment choices, a failing economy, and an increasing trend of young people leaving St. Vincent and the Grenadines because they cannot make a life in their homeland. That is not really leadership. Real leadership will come from the New Democratic Party. Real leadership is creating an environment here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines for our young people to build a brighter future for themselves. And where Vincentians, where every Vincentian would have the opportunity to succeed, no matter of their age, their gender, or the party card that they hold in their back pockets. Over the years, the ULP have promised a new hospital, a new art facilities, a center for performing arts, a new national stadium, and up to today, not a single one of them has been delivered to our people. Rolf and the ULP have a history of broken promises. And as we approach the election, you can rest assured they will reappear with more promises. But do you want to go into another 5 years with more promises, given the track record that they have? The Unity Labour Party appear to only want your vote. And when they get that vote, and matter of fact, they're going to do and say anything possible to get that vote. And once they get that vote, then they say goodbye to you and you're left there to fend for yourselves. How many times have that happened to you? How many times have that happened to people that you know? It is once too many. We understand the strategy of the Unity Labour Party. They promise so much and they deliver so little, and it is time for them to go. It is time for Dr. Friday and the New Democratic Party to be given the opportunity to provide leadership that will create a brighter future for all of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The New Democratic Party has a plan to deliver the people of our country that have been under bondage for almost 20 years. I remember the days when they used to think that the Prime Minister today was the modern day Moses. But if ever there is an example of a pharaoh of its worst kind, it is that of the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Release our people. Take your knees off the necks of Vincentians and let us sow. For far too long, we have been S-O-R-E. Experiencing and enduring the pain of labor. We have been wounded by the governance, the dictatorial governance exhibited by this administration. It is time for us to liberate ourselves. And the opportunity is fast approaching when we would go to the polls and we would have a decision to make. Once the New Democratic Party forms government, we will continue our conversation with our constituents. If you notice, what we've been doing is hitting the doors, knocking on doors, going into the highways and the byways and the hedges, talking to our people, meeting them, understanding their needs, and we have been doing that on a continuous basis. And once we get into government, that is not going to stop. We will continue to be in dialogue with our people, to work out together how we can make a better life for them. Your vote is important. You consider for a minute what your life would have been before the advent of the Unity Labour Party. You consider for a while, those of you who are not old enough to have lived under the New Democratic Party, and see what your life has been for the past 5 years. I want to ask you the question and think about it soberly and make a deliberate decision having answered the question. Has your life changed for the better or for the worse? Under the Unity Labour Party government, did your life change for the better? Far too many people are crying out. They don't know where to turn to get the next dollar. They don't know where to turn to pay their utility bills. They do not know where the next dollar is coming from to feed their children. And this is not the kind of condition that our people should be living under. It is time for us to usher in a new dispensation. You would have the opportunity to vote. When you vote, look at that vote as an investment into your own future. By virtue of casting an X, you are making an investment into your own future. And everybody who understands business would know that nobody goes into business if there's not a prospect of making a profit. Have you made a profit from the Unity Labour Party having invested in that government? No. There's an inner circle that is benefiting and the vast majority of Vincentian catching hell. And we're saying that that has to stop. So when you go to the polls, vote for yourself. Vote for your children. Vote for your loved ones. You're voting to make a better life for yourself and not for a particular family in this country. It is time for you to receive the benefits that are due to you. I want to talk about some local plans for the constituency of South Leeward. What we want to do is create jobs. We have been a constituency where youth unemployment is north of 50%. At any given day, I can go at any hour, daylight hours, between working hours, and meet several young people who want to work at home. Is it because they're lazy? No. It is because this government has failed our young people. They have not created the environment for jobs. And therefore, I am saying to the people of South Leeward, it is time for us to get you walking again. That can only happen when you go to the polls and vote for the Nature Boy and the New Democratic Party. Let us take the geographical location of Vermont, the Buckerman Valley, Vermont, Penniston, Dubois, Raylan Hill, all part of the Buckerman Valley, intimately involved in farming. What did the Unity Labour Party say about agriculture? They are moving away from agriculture to where? A service industry. You tell me, which of the hotels in our country is making a profit? Which of them is making a profit? All that they were looking at is the short-term benefit to be derived from the construction of the Buckama Bay Resort. And they were willing to throw the farmers under the bus. But we're saying, in the New Democratic Party, we are backing our farmers. We want to ensure that that tradition is preserved and continued so that you can continue to make a life, a decent living for you and for your family. The Unity Labour Party is intent on destroying agriculture, and in doing so, destroying your livelihood. I want to look at tourism. We have the potential for tourism development in the valley. There's a fantastic area in Vermont that is called Paradise. And there is an area that is very close to it that is called the Vermont Nature Trail that you're more familiar with. We understand our tourists coming to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and in order for them to take a good picture so that they can have lasting memories when they go back home, the taxi men have to stop at strategic points, high points, so that they can take a photograph. It is time for us to give them a new perspective of sightseeing. It is time for us to be able to show them the majestic canopy of our natural rainforest in the valley. And that can only be done when the New Democratic Party gets into government and we install, reconstruct that cable car system that will attract tourists, foreign tourists, and local alike, and even regional tourists, because there's something new offered to our people up there. I am saying to you, it is something to behold. If you can see it, you can receive it. I want you to vision it, because our constituency, what I'm outlining to us, is one of vision and transformation. For the nature lovers, yes, we have the nature trail, but we also have 5 waterfalls in the vicinity of Vermont. Those are the things, and I'm telling you, of the 5, 4 of them have been recently discovered. It is time for us to start our exploration. It is time for us to have a relationship again with nature. We will provide nature tourism. For the people in that area, it is one thing to have cable cars erected, but it's a hell of a thing when you can't even drive a car to get to the area where you want to build the cable cars. So the roads in Vermont have been in a state of disrepair for so many years, neglected by the government, and we are saying that we can provide jobs for you because we want to make sure that not only are the roads repaired, but they are properly maintained. And there is a new road that we want to establish between Vermont, and I'm linking the road again, from the mountains of Vermont into the mountains, Bellwood Mountain in Layou, into Hermitage in Spring Village, and finally exiting in Sharps in Chateaubriand. That is an existing road. That is a road that can open up agricultural lands and also give us an opportunity to improve our tourism. My friends, we also have the capacity to establish a food processing factory. We know what happens when fruits are in its season. Various fruits. We cannot consume all of them. And even the young men who have the stalls erected at strategic points across the roads, they cannot absorb all of the fruits. So in order for us to stop the spoilage of those fruits, we are going to build in Penniston a factory that can utilize those fruits. So when we do that, we are in effect creating employment for those persons who would be working in the factory, washing, sorting, doing the manufacturing, doing the packaging, doing the transportation, and also those of you who have the fruits in your homes. Jobs can be provided for you. The other thing that we are talking about, my dear brothers and sisters, there are several roads that started by the New Democratic Party and are still in the exact same state today. We talk about the Big Bush Road in Welland Hill. We are going to change that. The concrete roads which are unfinished and the footpaths in Welland Hill, we will change that. The Paradise and the Very Vine Road and the Bunker Hall Road, we will walk on those. The bypass road between Top and Bottom Kittels, Bonnet Hill, we will walk on those. In Camden Park, in Coconut Range, and also in Bullamy, we will ensure that those are done. My friends in Clare Valley, Crop Hole, Bedrock, I know that you've been complaining about those roads. The New Democratic Party will fix them. And speaking about Clare Valley, you heard earlier tonight about fishing. I am really sorry that so many people from Clare Valley, the fishermen, have to push a wheelbarrow all the way from Clare Valley up into Top Kittels to sell fish. We're saying to you that we're going to change that. The very fish that you're pushing in your barrow can be used as your bait when we introduce newer and more modernized method of fishing. You heard Major talk about the trawlers. You hear Ben talk about fishing. That is what we want, because Clare Valley would be the hub for fishing in South Leeward. And we're not done there. Our young people need the opportunity to walk. Not everybody is going to dress up in, shirt and tie or your high heel and a stocking, but walk can be provided. We have the resources right in our constituencies. There is an individual that I've spoken with a couple of days ago who is able, by designing and fabricating materials to make handbags, are able to make in excess of $1,000 in half day. Do you want the opportunity to do that? That can be done. That is why we want to utilize our community centers. You look at a community center in Vermont and in Penniston. Whenever you're in there, it's like a convertible roof, a convertible vehicle. You're inside and you're looking at the elements outside. The New Democratic Party will change that. And for my friends in Willand Hill, that community center, along with those in Vermont and Penniston, and the one that they rebuilt after I've been asking questions about that for years in the parliament, the one in Camden Park, we will ensure that all the skilled personnel in our constituency are brought together to teach their respective discipline so that life skills can be given to our young people. You want the ability to walk with your hands and make a living? These community centers were conceptualized for that purpose, and we will ensure that that happens there. Not like what we see happening in Willand Hill, where the only thing that is taking place in the community center in Willand Hill, when I go visiting and there are so many young men and women have nothing to do, rather than teaching them a skill in that community center, it is used to package love boxes. That must stop. That is not love. That is labor love as we know it. But if you have love in your heart for people, then you would create the environment for them to learn a trade so that they can make themselves employable and go out there. Don't depend on the government. We want to give you a hand up and not a handout. And the final thing before I leave, I want to speak for a couple of seconds to the people in Pembroke, Cane Grove, and Buckerman. I know this is the rainy season, and it has been very difficult for you that there are times when it rains that you do not sleep in the night because you wonder when the river is going to overflow its banks. Just a week ago, we had persistent rainfall, but it was not necessarily heavy and continuous rainfall, but the river overflowed banks. We know that people died because the Buckerman River overflowed its banks. And from 2013, we would have had close to $20 million allocated for the construction of river defenses in the Buckerman River. And up to today, there is no river defense. Major was talking about accountability. Where did the money go? All the money gone? Well, Colin was telling us something. All the money gone. And we can't find any river defense. My friends, the New Democratic Party plan is to construct a reservoir, a dam, in the middle course of that river, so that whenever the river is in flood, when we're in the rainy season like now, and we have a good heavy volume of water flowing down, we are going to build these reservoirs to take some of the waters that are flowing down. And effectively what we're doing is reducing the amount of water flowing into the lower course of the river, and that will prevent flooding. But that water is not going to be just there stagnated. We are going to use that water because we have been saying that we are serious about agriculture. We are going to use that water as irrigation for our farmers. So that river will no longer be a threat to the lives of the people at Cane Grove, Pembroke, and Buckerman Bay. We reduce the flow, mitigate flooding, and the farmers are going to benefit so that your crops would no longer be seasonal. You would no longer have a situation where in the dry season you can't plant anything. We have a different perspective of farming. And we want to ensure that farming is mechanized. We don't want you to be going with your iron hoe anymore. It is time for us to introduce mechanization, get these tractors to make your lives easier. And we have already established non-traditional markets for your produce. So you have the regional markets, but there are also new markets that we have been pursuing. And once given the opportunity to govern your affairs, the farmers will be once again living like the kings they were under the New Democratic Party. So my friends in South Leeward, it is time for a government that can provide jobs. I am repeating it. It is time for a government that can provide jobs. The Unity Labour Party have failed in that regard. But I want to leave with this. I want to leave with this one. You know, in the book of Daniel, the prophet Daniel, you remember people like Nebuchadnezzar and Belshazzar, those kings? Well, guess what? There was a handwriting on the wall. The handwriting is on the wall. The people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are about to write the final rights of the Unity Labour Party. You have overstayed your welcome. We don't want you any further. Stop imposing your presence upon us. Liberate our people. And for those of you who are contemplating going with the tradition of voting ULP in South Leeward, I say to you, as the hand appeared and wrote on the wall, that hand with no man, it said, "Mini, mini, tekel your fasten." If you only go to the poll and contemplate voting for the Unity Labour Party, remember that in the back of your head, "Mini, mini, tekel your fasten." There's danger. You're weighed in the balance and you're found wanting. The government has failed. It has been found wanting. And it is time for us to get a government that will work in your best interest. Thank you very much. Good night. It is time for the New Democratic Party.
Come on, South Leeward, make some noise! Yes! South Leeward. Strong and solid representation, ladies and gentlemen, in South Leeward. Don't worry with what Minnie and she minions them have to say. Because all she have done is given an endorsement of the failure of the ULP administration to do anything in the constituency of South Leeward. That brings us, ladies and gentlemen, to our final speaker tonight. When I tell you tonight was a powerhouse of speakers, ladies and gentlemen, ain't no joke. I am going to bring now to the podium another vice president of the New Democratic Party. We Leeward strong tonight. North Leeward in the house. North Leeward in the house. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. You see this next speaker, when he come to the podium and the platform, I just sit down on the edge of my seat. Because every time he come fiery. It's the reason why they can't take North Leeward out of the hands of the New Democratic Party. Make some noise and welcome to the podium, ladies and gentlemen. North Leeward strong tonight. Welcome, Vice President of the NDP, Patel Matthews. Good evening, good evening, good evening. NDP family, good evening. Mr. Chairman, Vice President Major Sinclair Leacock, my fellow candidates, Brother Benjamin Exeter and Nigel Stevenson, the other duo in Tree the Hard Way. A special shout out to my brother Israel, Bruce. Thanks for coming out tonight. And before I go on any further, the beautiful people from the most beautiful constituency, North Leeward Massive, in the house tonight, in the numbers. North Leeward, let me hear you make some noise. Make some noise so the people listening in Radio Land can hear you. Make some noise tonight so we can break the internet. Make some noise tonight to wake up all of Kingston, because New Democratic Party, we are on the verge to victory. Ain't no stopping us now. Ain't no stopping us now. Tonight, my brothers and sisters, I am here to give you the good news. A news that you already know. That come next election, the New Democratic Party, under the Honorable Godwin Friday, will form the next government. No two ways about that. No two ways about that. And therefore, I'm appealing to you tonight. I'm appealing to those on the fence. Those who are undecided, you have to give us that resounding mandate to take St. Vincent and the Grenadines to higher heights. We deserve better after 19 and a half years of utter frustration. SVG, we deserve better. And we are going to give you better. Tonight, my brothers and sisters, I want to talk a little bit about agriculture, because most of my presentation tonight has to do with the beautiful people from the beautiful constituency of North Leeward. Recently, you heard a big rush about manure at the agricultural input warehouse. All in done, you know. All not finished. The agriculture input warehouse say unless government pay the bill, they're not selling no more manures. The country bankrupt. Unless the government pay their bills, no more manure for our farmers. This is what the ULP is famous for, to run our country amok, and the farmers are the ones to suffer. And then you heard the next story. Brother Bruce mentioned a piece of it tonight. Brother Bruce said he questioned the Agricultural Training Institute. He wants to know where it is located and who are its administrators. But the story behind that, my brothers and sisters, is that this ULP administration frustrates a lot of young people, have them working at different places, 40-something plus at Dumbarton. And when they were supposed to get paid, somebody questioned, what are the qualifications of these people? Why should we pay them? They realize something is wrong, so they start to run like headless chicken, opening the resource centers to give them qualification so they can get paid. Things bad in this country. Things bad. And that is why tonight, I am telling you tonight, that this administration has no regards for the farmers, no respect for our farmers, and the New Democratic Party, we are going to change that. We will ensure that our farmers are given the support necessary so that they can make ends meet. We will ensure, my brothers and sisters, that farmers are given income support so that they can build themselves up and put their farms in proper condition, so that they can reap the benefits that they so good deserve. We are a blessed country. For centuries, my brothers and sisters, our people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines have lived good by farming, fishing, and their very industrious nature. This ULP administration have
have been doing them so much harm that today farmers are leaving the industry in droves. But my brother farmers, my sister farmers, better days are coming. Better days are coming. There is a gentleman who happens to be at the helm of the Ministry of Agriculture. I heard he's boasting and saying that he's going to remain there for another 5 years. But I have some news for him tonight, and I want you, the people, to judge him by some figures I'm going to give you. Now, when you see Patel bring papers, you do something wrong. This is the saga of our Minister of Agriculture since he took the helm in 2012. And I'm just going to touch on a few provisions for export. In 2012, sweet potato export was $2.6 million. In 2019, that we have the last figures for, is 315,000. This is the Minister of Agriculture, you know, who is bragging and boasting. In 2012, we exported $2+ million in sweet potatoes. And in 2019, we could not even muster a quarter of that. But Tanya, I want you to hear this. In 2012, we exported $124,000. But Tanya, in 2019, it was 119,000. That fall down too. For others, in 2012, this Minister of Agriculture, this failure of monumental proportion, he said that he is the best agriculture minister of this country ever seen. But the figures are telling you a different story. And here now, these figures came from the government statistic department. Patel didn't make it up. It wasn't Likap doing. It wasn't Dr. Friday. It is the stats department in the ministry. Edos, in 2012, the export of Edos was $5.19 million. Last year, it was $2.6 million. Over $17 million in the red. And you want to tell me that as a Minister of Agriculture, with such failing grades, how could the people of South Central Wynwood vote for him over Israel Bruce? It will never happen. It not happen. Well, don't talk about banana. You remember in 2001 when the ULP wanted to get in office, they brought a gentleman here in the campaign in 2001, and he said to you that when you vote the ULP, the glory days of banana will come back. You remember that? And when they have carried banana to its final resting place, they say Cruikshank and Arnhem kill agriculture. Well, they are the ones who raised the farmers' hope, because when the New Democratic Party left office, we were ordering over $20 to $30 million in banana. Today, I want to give you the figures of this agriculture minister when it comes to bananas. The figures from the stats department reads, in 2012, 2,000 metric tons were sent out, earning $2.72 million. In 2019, last year, the figure show $1.15 million. Failure. Dashing production. Export in 2012, $5.7 million. In 2019, $3.2 million. We have to get rid of these people, because if we give them another 5 years, these figures I'm giving you tonight will be far more dismal. We cannot, my people, allow Ralph Gonsalves, Sabato Caesar, and company to continue to reap havoc on this country. We have to stop them. And you, the people, the power is in your hand to make that change. The power is in your hands, my brothers and sisters. We have to make that change. The New Democratic Party We are saying to you that when you vote for Dr. Friday as Prime Minister, things will be better. We cannot go no further down. Our next direction is up, up, and up for the New Democratic Party and for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Fellow Vincentians, those of you who are listening in the diaspora, encourage your family to vote for NDP. Because when they vote for NDP, it will be easier on your pocket as well. We promise you, my brothers and sisters, that we will be having a zero tolerance and prayer larceny. That is people who go out and thief down farmers' products. A few months ago, as if to give some people a walk, you had some rural constables. Those who were supposed to be in the constituency to take care of farmers and look after any incidents of thief. They sent them to the station, and all they did was cook food for the other policemen. But in terms of the farmers getting the benefit from them, it never happened. Most of the officers at the police station did not even know why these rural constables were there. There was no mandate given to them, no job description, and the system fall through. We deserve better. But I'm telling you today that when you vote for the New Democratic Party, we will introduce a proper rural constable system so that our farmers, when they lost their produce, the matter could be properly investigated and the perpetrators brought to court and give the full length of the law. We will deal with that. Now, brothers and sisters, one of the issues in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is that of land tenure. Today, a farmer could be planting his produce and might be doing it for 40, 50 years, and government is to walk in and take the farmer's land. How embarrassing this is. How ungrateful to the farmer this is. The New Democratic Party recognize that fact, and we will change that. We will continue the land reform program that we started in Monbentic, Langley Park, Rabok, and other areas in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We will ensure that farmers are given land titles so that they can use them as collateral to expand their business to soft loans. The New Democratic Party will do that. I am saying to you tonight, my brothers and sisters, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I see the light of a New Democratic Party government changing St. Vincent and the Grenadines for the better. Our fisher folks, today, they are the ones who catching the linen to make ends meet. Every day toiling as if nobody care about them. Just recently, I was talking to a fisherman, and he said to me, Mr. Matthews, I can catch better fish, but I have no help. Look at the small boat I have. I can't get access to a loan and make applications, and because it's me, it seems as if nothing happening. To that fisher folks, I told him, and I will repeat tonight, better days are coming with the New Democratic Party. We will change that. We will make the lives of the ordinary folks in this country much better. We will ensure that our future folks, our farmers, our young entrepreneurs are given access to soft loans through a national development bank. That's what the NDP is saying to you. We will make it possible. So when you carry your ideas, we will bring it to fruition. We will advise you how to go forward, and we will make things happen. We will improve lives of people through every corner of this blessed land. All we want from you is your support that you are going to vote the New Democratic Party into government. We have to change this country. It's up, up, and up with the NDP. We must change this country. My brothers and sisters, tonight, I saw an article recently. And in the article, it has to do with some company has been given license for pharmaceutical, medical marijuana. I want to touch on that a little bit. The New Democratic Party, we were the first political party in this country to take the matter of legalization of ganja to the people. In 2015, 2016, thereabout, we went to Fetius in a town hall meeting and we made certain declaration. We said that when you support the NDP, we will legalize marijuana in small portion. We said we will expunge the records of persons who are in jail and who are in jail for a small amount of marijuana. We said that. We said that you will be allowed to plant at your home between 1 to 5 plants. We said that. We say to you that young men, because we understand marijuana is a fashionable thing, people are taking a spliff every now and then. We say that we will make it legalized for small portions, up to 2 ounces, you can smoke it without the police harassing you. We said that. We carried that message and the people understood us. But lo and behold, this ULP administration, because they sell a lot of dollar signs in front of the eye, they create a medical marijuana industry. And the industry that they create is only to benefit the big boys. Only to benefit the big boys. Today we have farmers in St. Vincent who they have given license to, and the farmers cannot get 1 pound a weed sell. According to the legislation said that in order to get a license, you must get a buyer. When pressure came and the election around the corner, they start to share out license left, right, and center, and nobody benefiting. Nobody benefiting. I recall the chairman, the CEO of the Medical Cannabis Authority, Gerald Thompson, on Bing Radio and Boom Radio, told this nation that they own $16 million from ganja licensing. When they had the busy signal show in this country, Camilo Gonzalez, the Minister of Finance, said they make $15 million. So between Gerald and Camilo, the only person coming in the middle was busy signal and a whole million gone. A whole million gone on the drain. I want to know where that million went. Somebody say, Patel, to bring an artist here for a political party is no small money. So I don't know where it went. And then to make matters worse, a few weeks after that, the Prime Minister of this country went on the radio calling in at 97.1, talking to Tukul, Chris and Luke, and told them that they only make over $6 million. My question is, if Gerald is the head of the Cannabis Authority, are you supposed to believe him? If Camilo is the Minister of Finance, are you supposed to believe him? If Ralph as Prime Minister, are you supposed to believe him? But with 3 different figures, somebody lying. Somebody lying. Somebody lying to the ganja man. Somebody taking ganja money. Who taking ganja man money? Tell the people who taking ganja man money. I say ganja man money, you know why? When this government promote the idea of a medical cannabis authority, they put out a leaflet. On that leaflet they said, we have 50 years of ganja planting. We have 2,500 farmers, and therefore come to St. Vincent to invest. So they use ganja men, and in the end, nothing for ganja men. Today I talked to a ganja farmer. I asked him, what have they done for you lately? He said, Patel, not a thing. I feel the pain of the ganja men. And that is why the New Democratic Party will change the legislation to ensure that ganja man benefit for their hard work. I always say to you, when the police was shooting and fellas been running for donkey years, it was the ganja men. They are the ones who carry the industry on the back, and that is why we were able to have a medical cannabis industry today. So ganja men, better days are coming to you. Better days are coming. Up to now, with all this money going around, we have 16 Gerald, 15 Camilo, 6 Ralph, where nothing for the ganja men. It is a sin, it is shameful, it is a disgrace, And we will correct that. We will find out where the money went. You know, my constituency, my brothers and sisters, the beautiful constituency of North Leeward. North Leeward, as you know, is one of the constituencies that has the greatest potential for development. We have farmers do excellent farming. Our fisher folks are second to none. And our tourism infrastructure is unbeatable. What North Leeward has, we have the land, we have the sea, with the people who are committed to the task. And I'm saying to you tonight, only give us a chance, and you will see how we transform North Leeward into a community that everybody will be proud of. I told you, when I get on the political scene many, many years ago, I see a vision, I see a dream for North Leeward. And I know to the bottom of my heart that this dream, my friends, is a great possibility. What we need is the right people in the right place. I promise you tonight that I believe that the New Democratic Party under Godwin Lowen Friday is the people. We are the people. And we are ready to move constituency like North Leeward forward. I envisage in the Richmond area, a cable car system from Richmond straight up to La Soufrière, down in the falls in Oya, back to Trinity Falls, to the Hot Spring. That would be a game changer for tourism development in North Leeward. Coupled with that, the cruise ship berth at the Richmond Chateaubelair area. What a spectacle. Use your imagination. Dream with me, my friend. Dream with me. And when we vote to make this a reality. Do that for me. We left from Richmond. We head into Chateau. But before we get to Chateau, there's an abandoned building. We used to call it building for the banana boxing plant. Right next door to that building is a waterway. A waterway that used to carry the water into the building to clean bananas many years ago. You remember that? I envisage a water bottling plant facility in that location, creating over 30 to 40 jobs for Leeward people. Right there in North Leeward. And we move on. While we're moving on, left, right, and center, we have agricultural lands that could take any product, any crop. Once the New Democratic Party is in office, we will ensure that all idle lands will be put, how you go, Major? Idle lands will be given to hands so that we could walk the lands and create opportunities for all and sundry. Then we get into Fethul's. Fethul's is a bastion in support of the New Democratic Party. An area where the people have been neglected. A couple of years ago, when this administration came into office, you know what they said? They're going to create a heritage village in Fethul's. Over $40,000 US was put into that project. Nobody knows where the money went, but there is no heritage village in Fethul's. It's so sad, so sad. I am saying to you, the people of North Leeward, right in Fethul's where they had the playing field, I vision an area where we will protect the Fethul's playing field and nice it up with a boardwalk. That would do well with the cruise ship facility that will be next door in Richmond. So we're tying everything together. That whole strip going down there between beachfront, right down to Corner Bay, I envisage the North Leeward with shops, restaurants to make North Leeward the bright spot in the north of SVG. I cannot imagine, when you're in North Leeward, you see all them ships coming down from the north and going south. We want to stop them. Let them spend the dollar in Chateaubelair. Let them spend the money in North Leeward, then they come on to Kingston. I envisage we have in Petitbodel one of the most beautiful local waterfalls within a 10 to 15 minutes walk from the mainland. But we now make the money from it. We have to improve that, put in seating, accommodation, so that all of SVG and all our visitors can benefit from the Petitbodel waterfall. Yes, we're going up. But before we get into Pito, let me backtrack a bit. We're going up Cherry Hill. If you go to Cherry Hill, once you're there, you can see as far back as Richmond. If you turn the other way, you can see up to Cumberland Point. But in front of you on that little headland is a little island called Islet, but the right name for it is Shatibele Island. I see for that island something like Young Island. At the top of it, we would have a grand welcoming area. At different areas around the island, we have gazebos and small huts. And what we're going to do, we're going to make it interesting. We're going to zip line from Cherry Hill straight over to Islet. For those who are not so strong, we're going to use the boat back and forth. North Leeward people, this vision is real. This vision is real. And I want you, the people, to help me realize this vision. It's not only my vision, it's one for you and the people of my constituency. Here we continue. In 2013, when the flood damaged areas in North Leeward, we supported in Parliament a project of over $4 million plus to do stabilization between Darkview, Rosebank and Petit Bodel. Today, they love Leeward so much, not 1 cent has been spent on that area. Come on. We will ensure, because we recognize the safety of our people, and one of government's responsibility is to provide safety for its people. But this administration, they do not believe in that. And hence the reason why someone met their debt on the way to collect money from a ULP meeting. We have to change the way that government think of our people. We have to ensure that safety. You recall when that death trap in Coles Hill took the lives of 4 people, night and day, in and out of the Parliament, on radio, on Facebook. I make noise, I cuss, I put pictures and video on Facebook until they change it and they fix it. I am saying, when the people speak, the government will listen. And that is why this NDP government, when we get there, will be a people-oriented government. You give us the ideas, and when we don't perform, you have a right to tell us you're not performing. You know, North Leeward, like South Central, like some part of Major's constituency, like so much South Leeward and all over, we are an agricultural community. We are an agricultural community. Yeah, you recall that Rose Hall as a community not only produce the most carrots in St. Vincent, but it did so for the entire Eastern Caribbean. Today, we go into the market and buy carrots in a plastic bag with blue painting from Trinidad that they import from Canada. Come on. We have to do better than that. When you look at, I want to give you the figures, you know. Yes, we have to expose Boto tonight. We have to expose him because he have this, as Major say, he have this nice way of giving fake news. You know, in 2012, you know, we have a trade balance in agriculture products of $8.92 million. That's in 2012. In 2019, that figure was $16.94 million. Double, more than double, under the present Minister of Agriculture, who thump in his chest and believe he's so good. When the figures from his statistical department is in a different story. I was sent a flyer a couple of days ago. This flyer was advertising a meeting for September 8th at Chumuka for the farmers in North Leeward with the minister. I couldn't believe it. After all these years, farmers in North Leeward catching hell. Many of them have left farming because they were not being treated properly. They applied for the loan that was offered from the Farmer Support Company. They didn't get. When manures were being distributed, fertilizers, they gave them to the party hack to give to non-farmers who would come into Kingston Market and sell by the pound while the farmers suffer. We have farmers in North Leeward who survive daily because they love the farming. And there is no other choice because unemployment is very low. So I want to know, I ask myself, what is Saboto coming to tell North Leeward farmers? I want to know because in the BAM project, banana accounting measures, St. Vincent and the Grenadines received between 2012 and I think it's 2017 over $37 million. And this money was to be used in areas that used to be involved in banana cultivation. It was a diversification initiative by the European Union. Not a single cent of the $37 million was spent in North Leeward. I want to repeat that. No farmers, no community in North Leeward benefited from the BAM project. Sabato, we are going to tell them. What are you going to North Leeward to tell Leeward people when you refuse as the minister in charge? Not a single cent of that money was spent in North Leeward. But you're going down to tell them what? You want to make your colleague look good? But I know that the farmers tonight, they are listening to me. And when they should boo you out of North Leeward, because you failed as Minister of Agriculture to look out for the interests of the people of North Leeward, especially the farmers. Where you are go? Where are you going? My brothers and sisters, tonight, I am sending this message. The message is loud and clear. To not only North Leeward, but to the people of this beautiful country. We have an opportunity before us to do better. After 20 years in government, this government has lost its way. It is evident that things are not rosy as they want to project it to be. Our people are suffering. Youth unemployment is 46-point-something%. The national employment rate is about 26%, way over the mark when they came into government in 2001. If the running of this government was like running a private enterprise, Ralph Gonsalves and his company would have already been fired. They would have been fired. You heard Major tonight, gave you the facts from their Auditor General indicating the monumental failure of this administration. Vincentians, do not continue to be laughed at by the rest of the civilized world. This, we have to pride ourselves when we say that Vincentians are good people. Let us put our goodness to the test, and we have to vote resoundingly for the New Democratic Party. I want my people of North Leeward, do not be sidetracked for once. They will do everything and anything to get your support. But all you have to remember, 4.5 years, you were scoffed at. You were cursed out. You were treated like you are nothing. But now that election is in the air, they seem to all of a sudden remember you. Some time ago, imagine this. Somebody say, call Mr. Matthews, a love box is at the shop for your wife. Me say, what? Me say, no, that can't be right. I say, where it came from? They say it came from her church in Rosebank. I say to them, tell them, Patel, say, go in Rosebank and look carefully. There are people in Rosebank who are suffering and in need of that. They want to try a thing to say, they give Patel love box. Not now go so. Vincentians, this opportunity, you can't miss it. It is now or never. Our people, St. Vincent, need you. One of our Calypsonians put it in words a couple of years ago. He said, put your country before your party. I want you tonight to look at yourself, look around in your community, look around in the entire country, and you will see that now is the time for change. Vincentians, St. Vincent needs you now more than ever. It is time you heed St. Vincent's call. Get out get up and vote for progress. Vote for NDP. The change is now. We have to do it now because we cannot allow these guys to continue. My brothers and sisters, it was my pleasure talking to you tonight. You get the message. Now do what you have to do and make things right. Thank you very much.
Yellow Army, Pauline, rescue mission time. In this country, sweet SPG, we
Patel. What tell all about Patel? What I tell all about Patel, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for North Leeward. Patel, oi. You want to know where the ganja money gone? In the hairy bank. In the hairy bank. All the ganja money gone. In the hairy bank. Ladies and gentlemen, before you dispose, just a few things we want to clarify before you go. 5 months, ladies and gentlemen. 5 months the New Democratic Party has been solid with its virtual meetings. 5 solid months the New Democratic Party has been coming to you with its virtual meetings. To this day, the ULP only had one. One, ladies and gentlemen, one. The NDP continues to be the trendsetter and to set the record straight going forward. I want to take this opportunity too as well, as we are live on social media and persons are viewing all over the world, to say congratulations to our sister party JLP in Jamaica for winning the general elections. We say congratulations to our sister party JLP. Andrew Holness once again returns as Prime Minister of Jamaica, and we say congratulations to our sister party. The trend continues to spread throughout the region, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, we say thank you very much, and we encourage you to tune in to the New Times program. We encourage you to follow the New Democratic Party on all its social media platforms. We say thank you very much for coming out tonight. Thank you for viewing. Thank you to all of our powerful speakers here tonight. The New Democratic Party is the way forward for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We are the Yellow Army, and we are ready to lead this country, ladies and gentlemen. Have a blessed night. God bless you. Good night.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines is a great country, but we could be doing so much better, and we need a plan for jobs and growth. The NDP will introduce a Citizenship by Investment CBI program in 2021. With checks and balances, we'll bring in new tax-free money for job-creating projects. Foreign investors can seek a second citizenship in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A second citizenship gives them more global free visa access. With the right of citizenship comes responsibilities. All investors must pass background checks and invest a significant sum of money in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Foreign investors already invest in hotels. Why don't they invest in healthcare? A new CBI program run by an NDP government will push them to invest in a new hospital. Money to support young people and job creation. Our Caribbean neighbors already collect millions of dollars each year through CBI. St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, and Dominica fund schools and hospitals through CBI. Our most precious resource is our people, and we must not fail them. We need tax-free, people-focused investments, growth, and jobs now. Together, we can get SVG working again.